Hello, everybody. Barb and I are here with Jessie McKitrick. We wanted to have a chat with Jessie. I think it's been over 3 years since we've had a really nice conversation with you, Jessie. And so we thought today might be a good time to catch up. And we thought maybe you guys might like to come along with us on this conversation. For those of you who don't know Jessie, she's a local Edmonton designer. In fact, she's the designer behind our little goose Tuque. This is a little goose Tuque is made from our hat trick semi-solid line, and this hat is perfect for snowbirds. You know, it reminds us that, well, in fact, this time of year, the geese are coming home. So today I probably don't need to be wearing a hat. It's pretty warm here in Edmonton, but maybe this evening might be okay to put it on because the wind is blowing pretty hard today. Anyway, we're so thrilled to be able to talk to you today, Jessie. It's been a while. What have you been up to in the last 3 years?
Well, so glad to be visiting with you again. It's indeed been quite a while. I've been working on a number of things here and there, a bit of teaching as well as some writing and, of course, designing knitwear. Um, and
Nice.
working, of
That's
course,
great.
for ancient arts, fiber crafts as well.
That's fantastic. So COVID, was about 3 years there, Jessie. Did that help or hinder you in your design business?
Oh, that's a good question. It, to a certain extent, more people have been taking up knitting during that time, and we're still seeing a little bit more yet. But it's been hard to get together with people and see people, so
Yes.
that's missing that.
Yeah. But from a design perspective, did that kind of give you maybe some of the time that you needed to come up with some new things? I know you've got some new things that you're going to share with us today.
Oh, yeah, in some ways, well, I actually slowed down a bit on designing. Partly wasn't as much in the mood for it for a while there, though I did keep it in a bit, doing a little bit here and there. And I started to get a little bit more into it again with magazine work, which I'd taken a bit of a break from. So I have design coming out in the August issue of Knit Now magazine. So that's the first one since 2019 for a magazine.
That's great. Well, that leads us in nicely. I was hoping that you could give our viewers a little bit of info on your background. I know you've got magazine work behind you. What else? How long have you been at this? And what's a little bit of background for us?
Well, I've been knitting for about a little over 14 years now. I wasn't taught as a kid, but my family was always very much a DIY sort of family with crafts and other projects. And so I went into the library and found some books on crochet and then later on knitting with plenty of confidence there because, yeah, if it exists, you can learn how to make it, right? So I did that for a while and eventually found that whenever I was looking for a pattern for things that I wanted to make, sometimes I'd find stuff. Sometimes the thing I imagined in my head just wasn't there, so I'd have to make it myself. And I went from there into designing. And once I'd done a bit of designing, decided, well, I mean, a lot of people are publishing from this. It might be a good thing to do once my kids go to school and I have a little bit more time during the day.
Mhm.
So it was something that I could do from home that's flexible and I could pick them up from school if they need to come home in the middle of the day, that sort of thing. So I started submitting designs to magazines, and quite a few of them got accepted, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoy working with magazines and seeing my work in print.
That's fabulous. And then, you kind of got connected with some of the dyers too, right?
Yes, I've been working quite a bit with ancient arts fiber crafts in particular. I work with them as well as a design coordinator now, though before I just started with a couple of designs with them, but now I work for ancient arts at the same time, and I do design work for them as well as for other sources or self publishing as well.
Nice. So just briefly, what are what's the role of a design coordinator?
It's a bit like a project editor at a magazine in a way. I coordinate all of our patterns and I get in touch with the designers, coordinate between them and the tech editors and the yarn dyers and everyone at Ancient Arts. Um, and yeah, I do a lot of work on layout. I work with a graphic designer and ebook designer for when we do larger projects. And yeah, do a lot of the different things we need to do to make sure that we get those patterns set up and published. Organizing
Wow.
photography too. Not that I do yeah, hire a photographer and yeah, get all that sorted out.
Photo shoot, do you manage the photo shoot too?
Yes, yeah, I help out at those, coordinate that most of the time. Sometimes it's done in Calgary, in which case someone will coordinate that down there, or I'll do that up here in Edmonton, if we're doing it up here.
Great. And you have three brand new designs, correct? That you're doing with Ancient Arts. Can you share a little bit about those with us?
Sure thing. Yeah, I have three newer designs with them. The first one to share with you right today is the Aspen Woodlands pullover. Sorry, vest, I should say. Aspen Woodland vest. And this one was designed because we wanted to have a vest in our pattern offerings. We didn't have one at the time with, or very many of them through Ancient Arts, and they've been quite popular lately. I've always loved vests. I mean, you get the whole thing done. You don't have to bother with the sleeves, which is always nice. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I only had a children's design in a vest published, the Windsor Vest, but it was time to have an adult vest too. So I worked with our Lasco DK yarn and did some swatching to figure out what texture would work, and this one worked out great. So we have just an all-over texture to keep it relatively simple, and with shaping for the armholes and working on and the V-neck, and working with a single rib for the trim.
Fantastic. Well, we've seen your Windsor vest. I think Cynthia even knit that for her grandson. So it's nice to see a vest in a larger size.
It's been well received. A lot of people like a nice cozy vest. It's great for in between seasons or a chilly day on a when in warmer seasons like summer as well. So just for an extra layer indoors in an office where it's not quite warm enough. All those things.
Yeah, that's right. And no getting stuck on Sleeve Island.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things about vests.
You have a couple more designs, correct?
Yes, another one as the Creamsicle Stole. Now, this one was very much inspired by the yarn itself. Ancient Arts had come out with newer at the time, Delicacy lace weight, which is a mohair silk blend. And I liked the look of it held together with our merino silk, which is the cream color here. To keep the textures, well, the weight balance, because there's just the single strand in the cream sections, but I have the two strands in the color sections. The cream sections are done in seed stitch so that it's a bit denser and matches up gauge-wise and drape-wise so that it's consistent across the pattern. And then just have these lovely stripes that reminded me of creamsicles. So
Yeah, that's
we
beautiful, Jessie. And it's really brilliant that you used a stitch, the seed stitch, to equate the gauge of two other yarns held together.
yeah, it helped balance it out nicely. And for the fringe, we had a lot of fun with that. Caroline suggested maybe looking into some macrame techniques to make some interesting, make an interesting treatment on the fringe. So I looked at a few different ideas and came up with this one. So just made a little bit of a decorative edging to it, just for a little bit extra.
It's beautiful. And that macrame sort of cording fringe just makes it summery, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. And the color too. It's great. Okay. And then you have one more.
Yeah, the most recent one I've done for Ancient Arts is the Evergreen Cardigan. Now, this one is, well, we were looking for a men's cardigan, and I it's kind of a nod back to one of my most popular patterns, which is the Mount Robson pullover. That one was, the Mount Robson was done in fingering weight, but this one is done in our new Hurley DK yarn for Ancient Arts there. Um, the things that are a bit similar with Mount Robson are the texture of the main body is similar. It's a slightly different stitch pattern. This one's a little bit easier because it's a garter rib. But I like in Mount Robson, we blended two textures at the sleeves to have the saddle shoulders in a contrasting stitch pattern. So the sleeves here are done in reverse stocking stitch for the whole sleeve, except for the cuff. And then we finished the whole thing off. To finish it off, I worked with garter stitch for a shawl collar. So 3 different stitch patterns at 3 different gauges, but it all worked out nicely together.
Wow, that is great. Tell us a little bit about Hurley DK, like what it was like to knit with it, because it's a fairly new yarn for Ancient Arts, is it not?
It is. It's really nice. It's compatible with the Lascaux yarn as well, in terms of structure and how they play quite nicely together. But the Hurley is has a white base instead of a brown base to it, so you get a full different range of colors. The Lascaux ones are a little moodier, I usually say, because the brown gives it sort of an earthy background to it.
Yes.
With the two, you've got quite a big range. The Hurley is, it does feel a little bit different to work with, but it's, yeah, similar enough that they'll play nicely together. But it was really fun to explore it. And try out a new yarn. I tried a few different swatches to make sure I got it just how I wanted, and it will do really nice crisp cables as well as the textures.
Nice. And what's the blend?
Oh, the blend is Viking Wool. That's the official name of it. It's a Norwegian wool blended with merino.
Blended
And
with merino. Oh, so,
yeah,
so
so
that gives
Viking
it,
Wool is the official name of the wool from Norway there.
so lots of rustic wooliness along with some softness in the merino.
Yes, yes, quite pleasant, but has character to it, which I quite like. So it's a good
Nice.
bounce and springiness to it. And yeah, there's a lot of good options for it. It washes up quite nicely. It might feel a little bit crisp in the skein, but after washing, it feels quite velvety even.
Nice. That's great. So Jessie, I know you've got a lot of experience, and we're wondering how that translates into your day-to-day. So, what's on your needles right now? Do you have a favorite project or something from your past work that you're redoing?
Well, right now I'm working on actually, this isn't a design. I usually I can actually share this one because it's just a basic one that I'm self-publishing coming up. I'm just making some basic gloves with
Oh,
Socknado. And the idea is I'm scheduled to teach a class at Old Fibre Week on gloves, well, mittens and gloves, but working on different ways of addressing the fingers and thumbs to work those out. So I thought I'd write a basic pattern to go with that. So
nice. And just for our viewers, Socknado is a fingering weight
it
merino
is.
nylon yarn, right?
That's right.
That's great. And Jessie, you've been a longtime Edmontonian, correct?
Absolutely.
We were wondering if Cynthia and I asked this of all of our locals friends. Do you have any favorite places that you like to go to in Edmonton or in Alberta?
Oh, definitely. I'd say
Someone, if
yeah,
someone was coming to visit, what would you recommend? It's a
the
must.
highest on my list, especially this time of year, is Elk Island National Park. It's absolutely gorgeous. Lots of great walking you can do and trails, but there's also some friendly, like if you're lower mobility, they have some areas for that are nicer easier strolls as well, or accessible to wheelchairs and whatnot as well. And the wildlife is just amazing. Just driving in, you are quite likely to get stopped by a bison traffic jam, and it's just neat seeing them, and because it's just amazing to be able to see how well the conservation has gone with bison there. There's so many birds. We've been bird watching a fair bit from early on in the pandemic onwards. In my family, we've been doing a fair bit of that, and that's been
Fun.
one of my favorite spots.
That's great. We couldn't agree with you more. Cynthia and I went out to Elk Island Park last year and found the red chairs. And
Oh,
those
yes.
chairs located throughout the park are just the perfect place to take your knitting and to spend a little while and sit and knit.
Oh, definitely.
Jessie, is there anything else that you've got going on that you'd like to share with us and our viewers?
Oh, well, I've been keeping busy with a lot of spinning as well. So make my own yarn, which is always
Now
fun.
that sounds like fun.
Other than that, I train in karate as well, which is something I've been fairly active with. So I've been pretty busy with that this year, helping out with a kids class on the Mondays and then training on Tuesday and Thursdays as well. So
Oh my
Wow, so do you
goodness.
teach? Yes, this is something brand new. Do you teach karate?
yeah, I'm an assistant instructor at the children's class on the Mondays, but yeah, training as well myself. And it's something I did in university, and then a few years ago came back to it after a fair bit of a gap. So it was a bit of a learning curve again, getting back up to speed, but I really missed it, and it really is, it's great exercise, and I love it.
You can
Oh
only
my
imagine such
goodness.
a
Yeah.
wonderful exercise.
Jessie, do you have a black belt in karate?
Well, not just yet, though. That this summer I have been invited to the black belt training, testing for black belt. So so probably in a few months I could say yes, seeing how that goes.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm gonna bring Barb back in here. And I just wanted to ask you, Jessie, when is Olds Fibre Week?
It's the same weekend as Father's Day. I always forget the exact date.
Okay, so that's
Around
the weekend of June 18th-ish.
I was going to say 16th or so, somewhere in there. So yeah, it's starting on the Friday
Okay.
prior to Father's Day, and then it goes. There's weekend classes on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the week following that is for the Master Spinner and Master Weaver programs. So they have a lot on the weekend for just general guests, anyone who's interested in fiber. They have a great marketplace that I always love visiting,
Mhm.
and yeah, the classes for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they have some on spinning and weaving, but they have knitting and needle felting and a variety of other neat crafts. So,
Oh, that's really cool. And besides glove making, are you teaching other classes?
oh, I'm also scheduled to teach one on adding pockets to garments. So
Oh, like Elizabeth Zimmerman's afterthought pocket, that kind of thing?
that as well, though there's the planning ahead sorts as well. So set in pockets, afterthought pockets, and patch pockets. So I'll touch on a few
Excellent.
different options.
Well, that's
That's
great. I
very
hope you
fun.
have a fabulous turnout for your classes. That's amazing. And it's really nice, Jessie, to know that you're able to not only design, teach karate, but also share your knitting expertise with others in the community. That's fabulous. Ah, that's great. Barb, was there anything else you wanted to ask Jessie before we let her go?
No, I don't think so.
So we'll just mention, Jessie, that your patterns, the ones that you showed us today, they're available on Ravelry. Are they also available through Ancient Arts?
They are. So the Ancient Arts website, they're all there in the patterns section, and yes, also via Ravelry.
All right. So we'll put links to the patterns in the show notes down below. So if any of you are interested in picking up some of these patterns from Jessie, you'll be able to do that. And Jessie, do you have a social media profile as well?
I do. I under my own name. So if you look up Jessie McKitrick, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I have a page, and uh, I think that's most of it. I haven't been at Twitter lately, but I pop in now and again. That sort of thing.
Perfect. Okay, well, we'll make sure to add your social media handles in the show notes as well, in case anyone wants to share a picture of a project that they've done of yours. I was looking back in your Ravelry profile, Jessie, kind of skulking in the background to see some of the interesting things that you've designed. And I came across a mitten that has one thumb on it. Do you want to tell us the story behind that thumb mitten?
The one where the thumbs pull back for texting, am I?
No, this was one that you made for your daughter.
Oh yeah, that was one of the first things. I did that just on my blog at the time. My youngest was having trouble sucking her thumb, and the orthodontist really wanted her to stop. So I made up yeah, thumb cover. And I've been surprised by how many people it's helped out. There have been a couple of people that got it because they had nerve damage to the thumb that made it extra cold from an accident. One person's they added thrums to it and have just to keep their thumb warm because the rest of their hand's fine, but the thumb gets painful when it gets cold. And of course, lots of kids that were working on that. And interestingly enough, eventually the orthodontist did actually gave us one, and we already have these because I've been making them for a few years.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah,
love
that
that.
was just something I did for free just to share with people. But yeah, I hadn't thought about that one in years because the kids are much taller than me now and teenagers. So
Yeah, and I noted in your Ravelry description that you said that it was your daughter's, you did this with your daughter's full consent and her approval. Like, it wasn't that she was being punished for sucking her thumb. It was her idea that maybe this would help her to remember. So I thought that was really sweet, Jessie. It's just kind of an unusual thing, so I'm glad that you've got it there. And in case anybody, needs it, it's there. It's on your Ravelry page. It's kind of fun. And yes, I did knit the Windsor vest. I knit that with Barb. Oh, with Rowan
the Tweed,
Valley
right?
Tweed. Yeah, yeah. And it's beautiful. What a great vest pattern that is. So again, we'll put a link to that in the show notes down below. Thank you so much, Jessie, for spending some time with us. It was really great to catch up with you. I hope maybe we'll see you at at a festival. Barb, we're going to have to make plans to go and shop the marketplace at Fibre Week. It's been
Oh,
a
that would be.
it's been a
Oh,
long time since we've
Will
been.
you be at Gathering Threads, Jessie?
yes, I will. And actually, come to think of it, two of the designs we talked about today, the Evergreen Cardigan and the Creamsicle Stole, I believe, are going to be in the fashion show on Friday, so people can see them in person there.
Nice.
That's great.
I'll be there for sure on Sunday. I'm hoping to pop in Saturday, but it depends what else is going on with the family this weekend. But I'll definitely be there.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, that's lovely. So have a great summer, Jessie. Do lots of well, I was gonna say do lots of karate, but maybe just do lots of karate design.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a lovely summer, and I hope you'll have a lovely summer too.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you at a few events.
Right? Yeah. Take care. We'll see you again very soon.
Well, good talking to you. Thank you so much.
Bye.